Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
To answer your question, very fucking tired.
I fucking love this show sometimes. Do you realize that they didn't hear the question, but I think you just suspect what it might be. My name is Jackie Cation. Happy 2019.
Oh, right.
Are you a
Sure.
numerologist? I'm not.
No.
Who gives a shit?
Right.
So
you brought it up. I assumed you gave a shit.
I know. Well, we have so much to talk about, and we're only doing one.
I know.
I bet you this hour goes by super fast.
It's
Laurie.
already dragging for me. I got bad news for you. Feels like it's been an hour. None of my pens are working either. What the
that
fuck?
blows. So what? What's?
So I just
you've
got
been everywhere.
off a plane. I took a cab here from Burbank Airport.
When you got out of it, all I could think was, I could have picked her up because I pulled up right as the cab pulled up.
Oh, the guy started going just all over the place, and he just kept repeating Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Like
You live right by where they shoot Conan.
yeah, over and over and over again, and I finally just was like, dude, stop, turn around.
How shrill of you!
I got very shrill.
Did you?
I can get
Were you
to
unlikable? What
full
happened?
Sandra Bullock mother in Bird Box very, very quickly.
Bird Box. Fuck Bird Box.
I just watched it on the plane.
Fuck Black Mirror. Fuck Tidy Nation. All the things
I
that
was
I've
watching
never
Tidying Up.
Tidying Up. All
Yeah.
the things. I can't keep up. It's not going to happen.
I downloaded it
did you?
earlier, and I watched it on Southwest.
That's what you got to do on Southwest.
This week was a bad idea.
Right? It was a terrible idea because you landed from Japan.
Okay, it's 10 hours back from Japan, and on
Coach?
on Wednesday. Coach Premium. I pay $200 extra each for the seats, but it makes so much difference.
Anything.
I like
Do
peeked
something.
down at the animals in Coach,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, you guys look so uncomfortable. I have like 5
10
extra
hours?
inches of leg room,
Oh my
and I'm
God.
so happy.
And what airline was it?
United.
Oh, there you go.
But otherwise, they were great.
All right.
They had a ton of television. They had all 6 seasons of Downton Abbey. I mean, you
Wow.
didn't need to get off the plane instantly when you landed.
Oh,
it was
that's
nice.
all right. Well, that's amazing. How
and the-
was Japan?
Japan was well. First, let me just tell you how
Okay.
tired I am, and then we'll get to different levels of whatever.
We can backpedal to
Yes.
before Christmas, which was when we last discussed.
Right. So I land on Wednesday afternoon
Mm-hmm.
and take a horrendous lift back out of LAX.
Oh my
and then I have to, and then I sleep for a couple hours, and then I have 2 spots because I'm like, I haven't been on stage. I did one set in Tokyo.
You did a set in Tokyo.
Yeah. It was mostly for expats.
Of course.
And they introduced all the comics by their first names only.
Wow. Did you
I'm
go
like,
to an
not only do I
AA
not
meeting
need to
by
give you
accidentally?
credits, but what?
You accidentally went to an AA meeting?
So I wish I got that joke. I'm so lucky.
How long have you lived
I'm
here?
only addicted to applause, Jackie. So I did a set on Gays R Us, and I did a set on Women Crush Wednesday. Thank
Oh,
you,
good.
Aaron and Marcella, for taking care of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then so I got a little bit of my sea legs back, and then I had a flight the next morning out of LAX.
Yeah.
And to Chicago.
Chicago.
Didn't land till 6:00. Land at O'Hare, but I'm at Zany's, which is in Rosemont, which is right next to O'Hare. So
that's great.
I get off. It's all carry on. I'm sitting up close. I paid a little bit extra for the plane ticket, so
Yep.
I could sit close to the exit.
it still sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I roll off the plane
Because
onto
it's a
into
Thursday,
cab.
Friday, Saturday, right?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
Wednesday through, but they let me out of the Wednesday and they just paid me
Okay.
less. So they're always everyone's happy to pay you less.
You just got prorated.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So Thursday night I'm on stage and I'm like, where am I? and I can't. I haven't been on stage in essentially 2 weeks, and then the last time I did 45 was at Thanksgiving.
Right.
So. I went over my set as much as I could. I'm like, I've done everything I can. Now I just have to hope something kicks in.
Right.
So it was fine. Like I got through it.
Yep.
Then Friday morning, I'm doing radio.
Oh, that's
we know how
my
effective
God.
radio is, Jackie.
Oh, good Lord. Nobody comes.
Guess what my call time was? 6 a.m.
That's such bullshit.
So I got zero sleep again.
Oh.
And at 6 a.m. and I'm doing Man Cow. Who's
Which
like,
is-
who's like,
I don't even know what that is, but it sounds like a damn nightmare.
He was like he and Alex Bennett in San Francisco and Howard. They were kind of on the same wavelength for a while, and I mean in terms of success levels, where they owned a town, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
What
he
do they-
owned Chicago.
So these are people who have something against prostitutes 35 years later. Fuck.
Well, anyway, so I was worried because he's hit or miss with comics.
Yeah.
I heard good and bad from people.
Oh, so you haven't done it before.
Right. And so
Okay.
I did it, and he was very nice. And it was his first week back. He had been off the air for 9 months, and his station, you know how radio is, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So, but he had 2 mayoral candidates on, and it's all this fucking Chicago breaking news. Like, could this be national politics so I could participate? Who the fuck are you people talking about? They're
Right.
like, Alderman Burke, and everyone's chiming in with their Burke opinion. I'm like, I can't even talk. I don't know what anyone's saying, you know? So I stayed the whole 3 hours or 2 hours.
Of course you did, because they just need bodies.
Well, he would throw to me occasionally, and I'd like spit a joke out as quickly as possible and try to get a
you
laugh.
have to. You have to strong with these morning guys. I swear to God, if you don't strong arm your way into the conversation, you don't get to talk.
Right.
And then they're mad at you because you didn't.
He was not mad at me.
No,
he was like
because
he
you did it.
apologized because they had so many
They had overbooked it.
so much political shit going on, and there's 2 political writers on, right? And I'm like, I can hang with these guys, and then one of them refers to Trump as the president in a reverential tone. I'm like, oh my God, and then I get his name. Washington Examiner writer. Oh, okay. That's
I'm sorry. You're a Mooney.
It's like the Daily Caller in print. Okay. So even that I couldn't. I had no simpatico with him, but
Right.
I managed to hide my political leanings well enough, and
to get out of the building without being.
Yes, I would do it again. You
would do anything again.
That's true.
For stand-up comedy
That's
press.
true.
Yes.
So, and then the Friday first show, I'm in the middle of a joke.
Well, remember what happened Friday day is I called you. And you had just
I was
gotten...
in the middle. I took a 7-hour nap during the day, so that fucked up everything for the rest of the weekend.
Right. So I call you, and you literally answered like you were a puddle of marshmallows. You were like, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry to wake you up." And you go, "No, I'm not. It's great." And I said, "Quick question, merch, pull the trigger." And you're like, "Yeah." And I said, "Goodbye."
Right back to sleep.
I'm sure.
Right back to sleep.
Oh my God,
In fact,
I
don't
felt
even
so
remember
bad.
the call. I'm only angry now that you've mentioned.
Oh, right. Here, please.
I'm on stage on Friday. It's a great crowd.
First show.
I'm in the middle of a joke.
I like that room, Rosemont.
It's a great room. I'm in the middle of a joke, and words have left me, and I don't know where I am. I don't know what the joke is. So I start to repeat the last word I said, hoping it kicks in, and nothing's kicking in. And then, because it's a joke I did on my Conan set, which apparently the entire front row memorized, they started doing the joke to me.
Guess what? That means you're famous.
No, it means I need to write more.
It also means that. But it means you're famous. Remember last year when I was at Laughs in Seattle, and I'm going again this week.
Right.
There was the woman in the front row who had heard every joke of mine.
Oh,
and
my
she was the
God.
biggest fan, which it threw me for a loop.
Yes.
And I mentioned it on this show, and she emailed me, and she was like, "I am so sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's not your, how would you know? Except for the fact that I'm alive and you're right in front of me, enjoying me telling me the jokes that you already. It's too much. It's just distracting, and I can't think
now.
And I feel like I've let everyone down from when I was a baby.
I'm against me having a Netflix special. Now it would ruin me.
Oh God! Except for that, is anyone watching them?
I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea.
I would cash the check.
Yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I've heard they're not huge.
No. And the deal. Remember the deal?
Yeah, I've heard it.
They own like the next hour and a half.
Yeah, and they own a lot of you.
So,
but you know what? Maybe they are. Maybe there's so many now.
Right.
Are you going to have like Ali Wong? Like, is your career going to turn like that, where you're playing theaters? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, and it's
But here's the thing. So I get the joke back. Like they prompt me. So I'm like, oh yes, and everyone's in on it. I told them I forgot it. I'm like, you guys, I'm sorry. So they're all fine with it, and it's not like that. I'm like, and then I get to the punchline, and I go, take it away, and oh
my God, like Freebird?
Yes. And I said, I've turned into Billy Joel now. Like, you guys, this is bad.
Oh my God! First of all, I get that reference. Second of all, oh my God, I was at the Ice House the other night.
Yeah,
and I asked this. There was a young man. And I don't know his full name. His name is George. He does stand-up comedy, and I was telling, as I always do, that anyone can be on the Dork Forest if we can figure out the scheduling. And so this guy was like, "Well, I really like trap music," and I said, "That's great. I don't know anything about trap music." And he put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "I know you don't."
Is that like Trappist monks? Like, is that chanting?
Of course not. Oh. It is Southern hip hop.
God damn it! I'm freaking tired, man.
No, I know. It's Southern hip hop. I looked it up.
Oh,
it's a specific kind of hip hop. It's from the South.
Okay,
who gives a shit? Right. He likes it. He can start from the beginning and tell me what it is. It doesn't matter. And so when I left, I think it was the week before Christmas. You were going to Japan,
right?
I was going to Acme, and so I go to Acme, and it's awesome, as it always is. As it always is. Brandy Posey featured.
Oh, that's a great show.
Fucking murdered all week. She was a delight. Louis Lee liked her. So that's great. Hopefully Derek liked her because Derek books the features.
Okay.
And like all clubs, except for Goonies, they don't put the features up. Wow. But he paid her fare.
Yeah.
And gave her some money for travel.
Yeah.
And I gave her my travel money because my brother picked me up from the airport. And so I think she might have broken even. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
How the fuck?
I don't know how they're doing it. How are you doing it, Kyle? Nobody bankrupt.
Jesus Christ.
Kyle lives with his parents, you guys. And,
that's how I did it. I lived with my parents till I was 34.
I had a day job until 2003. So that's how I did it. And
now I do have a day job.
And you have a day job.
Until then, though.
Except for Brandy Posey and I were having this conversation, and we were discussing Laurie Kilmartin. Yeah. We were saying, we've never met anyone with 3 successful careers who thinks that she isn't good at anything.
What? Are you talking about my web design career of 1996 to 99?
I could murder you right now. You write on a TV show. You are a successful stand-up comic. You are a published fucking author. Those are 3 things that, by the way, nobody else gets to fucking do. So win. Zip it. Just say thank you.
Thank you. But
done. Now.
Point something out real quick, but she is clearly way more proud of her website than any of her comments.
Guys, you don't remember, you don't know. I found this frog gif early. It was a frog on the left side of the screen, and its tongue would roll out, and that was the border. That was
sense of accomplishment that was given to Laurie Kilmartin.
I put Kilmartin.com on the header, and then the frog and his tongue went on roll when the page loaded, and then my content was below.
I don't know if you know this, but I had a Radio Shack TRS 90, TRS 30.
I had that one. I know the one you're talking about.
And I wrote a program in BASIC back in high school, and I might not be super young, you guys. Anyway, so and I was very proud of it. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It was like, sure, it's the if-then statement.
How was Brandy's merch situation?
It was awesome.
Tell me about it.
So Brandy Posey has an album, right?
Did you take a picture or anything? Doesn't she have like a trunk, like a super special trunk?
She does not have a super special.
Okay.
Or if she did, she didn't bring all of her
she didn't
merch.
bring it on a plane.
She only brought her cassettes. You know that she sells cassette tapes.
That is so cool.
It is.
And so do people buy them, and do they know what to do with them, or they just buy them for...
There's a download card in the cassette.
Oh.
So in the pitch, she has
a thing to sell.
Right. And she's like, yes, I am an insufferable hipster. Please buy my cassette tape. And I was like, $20. Everybody, $20. And so she sold, I think she did pretty good on March as well. I brought fucking I brought the kitchen sink. I brought 4 T-shirts,
Wow.
3 CDs, my DVD, and both pins, and then all of our stickers and Dork Forest stickers. And then I sold because I did Acme, and then I went to Milwaukee, and Andy met me there, and then I went to Ann Arbor, and I had him bring more merch. And
Could you have someone film you at your ultimate merch situations like this where I can see what it looks like?
It's
because I feel like you're not in the corner embarrassed to be alive like I am.
no, I am not. And I used to be. I felt like there was more character in being embarrassed in a corner. It turns out there's less money in being embarrassed in a corner, and so I embraced it probably 10 years ago. I was like, "This is what you were raised to do. Don't hate it, just own it." And it doesn't make you a worse comic for selling merch. It doesn't make you. It doesn't. Take anything away from it?
Do you take when you're on stage and you tell people? Are you telling people afterwards? Are you explaining everything?
What I do is I usually right before my closer.
Yeah.
I say I have a boatload of merch, and then or this last time I was like, it's Christmas. I have everything. Buy it. Don't buy it. I don't care, but this is what I've got. And then I tell them what I've got, and I tell them that all the money for like the spooky reading and the Dork Forest and the pins and the CDs, the spooky pins, go to me, Jackie Cation. Always gets a laugh for some reason, don't know why. And then the Meat Shield T-shirt and pin, I tell them that goes to charity. And the only reason I tell them, the thing is, I was talking to Morales. I was talking to Carmen Morales, and she was like, it's really cool that you do that. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I want it to be transparency.
Yeah.
Because people expect, if you tell them that, remember back in 9/11, people would say, this money from these shirts are going to firefighters. And they weren't.
Excuse me. I did.
You did.
I did it when I said it. Yes.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Right.
And so I have receipts that I've saved. Like I got to donate. People fucking bought the Meat Shield stuff because Jenny found a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
And people want to think that they're doing something.
Yeah.
And so $4,000.
What the fuck?
Last year I donated $4,000. It was a grant to Black Lives Matter in Sacramento, ACLU in Iowa, the Southern Law Poverty thing, Southern
Poverty
Law
Law Center, yeah.
And then the last grand I donated was to racists, the immigrant legal thing.
Okay. Racists.
To
my
racists,
Jackie, why would you do
Nazis.
that?
Well, I wanted to mix it up, you guys, right there in the 11th hour.
Yes,
but
they're helping the kids at the border.
Right, and so I'm already $700 towards the next grand.
Oh my God!
Which picked. You remember the disabled group that chained themselves to McConnell's office? It's going to go to them.
Oh, that's great.
I think it's called ADAPT. ADAPT.
Is that where that guy A.D. Barkin is?
I don't know.
Tweeting out of. He's a guy who has Lou Gehrig's. Maybe he was an activist, and then he got Lou Gehrig.
ALS.
Yeah, he's very close to. The end of his life, according to him.
Right.
So, but that's great.
Anyway, but comedy-wise, though, I got to do long sets.
Yeah.
And then I got to do more long sets. And then I got to do more long sets. And holy shit, I have 18 hours of stand-up comedy to listen to.
Oh, my God.
I have currently listened to
horrific.
3. And I learned things just because you were late tonight.
Yeah.
I got to listen to an hour and a half, which means that over the last month, I have listened to an hour and a half. And then tonight, I listened to another hour and a half. I'm getting.
It's so hard.
It's good. It's brutal.
Yeah. Because
some of the jokes they felt dumb. They felt really bad. And then I did the long set, and they cleaned up. They tightened up. Do you know why? Because that's what the long set's for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's to get the order. It's to get these longer bits to tighten up. Mm-hmm. It's to, Yeah, it was great. And then the only interesting Christmas thing that happened is, remember I told you that I signed up, that we were going to go on a sleigh ride on Christmas night at Jellystone Park, the Yogi Bear themed park in Milwaukee. And it was $12 each. For $14, you got free cocoa and a glow stick.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that they were open on Christmas night. Do you know why? Because they're not. They're not open on Christmas night. So Andy and my nephews and my sister-in-law and my sister all drive to Jellystone Park, and there's just all there is a gate and a handwritten close sign.
Oh my God.
So Andy and my nephews hike in, and it turns into Treehouse of Horrors. It turns into an abandoned amusement park. My nephew was freaking. He was like, it's too crazy. And then Andy sent me, because I didn't do it because it was 28 degrees, we get a picture of the sleigh. I get a picture on my phone of the sleigh. The sleigh is just essentially a bleacher that they've slapped some things on the side of, and it was being pulled by a tractor. So in the end, I think I got a refund. I emailed the woman, and I was like, hey.
Oh, you had already bought tickets?
Yeah. Yeah, and I had reserved, and I was like, hey, you guys aren't here. And she goes, I thought you meant November 25th. We're not open December 25th because it's Christmas. And I said, well, I'm actually glad to hear that you took December 25th off. But can I have my $84 back?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And she was like, yes. And then we just drove to West Dallas and drove through one of those, it was a muscular dystrophy, and one of those neighborhoods that everyone decorates their house.
Annoying?
Yes, and then somebody stands out with a can.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Yeah, to take money for somebody. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Grinch.
I'm so at Zany's, they put you up in the hotel, right?
Right by Rosemont.
Okay,
yep.
so I googled the hotel, and then I tried this new thing that I'm going to start doing with every hotel I stay in. Is you Google the hotel. Well, here's why that happened.
Is this swimming related?
No.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna. I won't use the actual hotel name. I'll say the Rosemont Hilton. So I type Rosemont Hilton in.
Yeah, you got it.
And then there's autocompletes that come up, right?
Yep.
First one, reservations, room rates, contact info. Number 4, organ trafficking.
Oh.
In my hotel. So I'm like, what the fuck? So then I click the news tab on Google. Different story altogether. My hotel's being sued for $600 million for murder.
Murder?
Yes.
When they met, it was murder?
I was like, oh my God, what is this?
So the hotel that the comedy club put you at is a murder place? It's a murderinos?
It murdered somebody, and people go there to do illegal procedures in the hotel rooms.
Right. Well, I just did
How much does that happen, though? Does that happen a lot?
It doesn't happen a lot.
It's right near O'Hare. That's why, right?
Right.
You get there, I'll get your kidney, get the fuck out.
It makes you think it does because it came up on Google. But okay, so Ann Arbor, I moved from the hotel to the hotel next to my hotel because it's an old hotel that they have used for 1,000 generations. And I talked to Roger about it,
like many of their headliners.
I resemble that remark.
Not you.
So I'm talking to Roger and I'm like, hey man, it was kind of gross because it used to be a Holiday Inn Holodrome in Ann Arbor.
Holiday Inn what?
Holodrome. It's essentially like the Hilton Garden Inns have them too, where it's this giant open space in the middle. Like you check in and then you go through and then you have to find the elevator.
The Hyatt in San Francisco's like that.
Yeah. Sometimes a Hyatt will have that or a Hilton. But so this used to be a Holiday Inn and they used to call them a Holodrome. And then they sold it to a Clarion and then they sold it to a Wyndham.
Oh, man.
And I literally went on TripAdvisor and fucked them up because it was so gross. You walk in because here's the check-in. You go around a corner and there is an giant open area. Mm-hmm. In that open area is the pool, not enclosed.
Oh.
So, and the restaurant, not enclosed. Guess what tastes like chlorine? Absolutely everything. Second thing, the bar, not enclosed. And rarely open. So, I get back from the first show on Thursday night.
Right.
And
I didn't know you needed a bar open late. Is this a new development?
It's a new development. I come in, it's 11:30, bar closes at 11. There's 5 construction dudes sitting at the bar. And I have to go past them and walk 200 yards to a creepy elevator in a corner, which I find out later. There's one of those, how like sometimes at a hotel you can come in if you use your card.
Yeah.
So there's a door right like that, except for that door never locks. It's on, and it's in this like deserted corner.
So
anyway,
it's like staying in an open hallways hotel.
yeah, it's the worst.
Close.
It's except for that you have the illusion of safety.
Right.
So I walk around the corner. There's no bartender. It's closed. There's 5 dudes just hanging out with a 12-pack, and one of them goes, and it's 11:30 at night, and he's like, "Well, you want a beer?" And I said, "No, I'm good."
Oh
I'm
my
gonna-"
God.
And I just keep walking. And
Do dudes know how terrifying that is for
was
if you're a female to be in that
genuinely
situation?
uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because the second guy goes, "Hey, you don't want one? It's really just hang out." And I was like, "No, thank you." And I just walk, and I walk to the creepy corner of the elevator.
Guys, we think you want to rape us. We
Immediately,
think that's
I
you
wish-
guys organizing a rape.
And quite
Okay.
honestly, there's hotel rooms off of there. And there was no bartender. The next day when I woke up, I was like, I think I'm going to move to the Hampton. And I didn't realize until about 2 p.m. that the reason was because of that. Because I thought it was the chlorine.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
And when I got it, because the Hampton Inn is 4 years old. It's right next door. It costs $20 more a night. And
Yes.
and the club paid for it. Club
that's
covered
good.
it. So, but like literally, I was talking to the guy at the front desk. I said, so you're here. I go around the corner, and those guys didn't do anything. They didn't mean anything by it. But it genuinely, I felt like I could have been murdered.
Yeah.
Right. So, so I got the fuck out, and so Ann Arbor was fun.
Yeah. It's a new club. I haven't been there since they switched over.
Well, the thing is I was there 3 years ago,
Right.
And they had just moved there,
Yeah.
and it was being renovated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the course of the renovation of Ann Arbor's comedy club, they found out that there were structural problems and they couldn't renovate.
Dude,
they had to fix it.
Listen, I watch HGTV. I think I know how the story goes.
So the scaffolding
they
is
called
still
Chip.
up.
What? Oh, what?
He got that. And so the scaffolding is still up. It's still just... But when you get down to the club is great.
Yeah.
But you have to find, and people are just starting to know that, it's behind the scaffolding.
Oh,
and
my
so,
God.
yeah. So, but I did comedy brunch.
Oh, yeah?
With comics. There was, son of a bitch, it's 2 weeks, my brain is a sieve. A woman, one of the local women comics, she had emailed me and said, "Hey, do you want to get lunch or anything?" And I said, yeah, I do. And so we went with the MC guy, and who was also really funny. Everybody has names. So sad, too bad.
Jackie, you moved on.
And but it was really, it was genuinely, it was really social and really fun. And then I came home, and yeah, it was. Oh, I picked up a set in Milwaukee too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I went to an open mic because I'm doing February 14th in Milwaukee with Carmen Morales. We're doing a Valentine's show at a tiny, like a black box.
Cool.
Or I think it might be a music venue. But
That's before our New York thing, right?
Right, New York is January 19th. Wait, February 16th.
February 16th.
January 19th, we're in Boston.
Please come out.
Yeah, people. You guys, Boston. It's called Studio, I think.
Yes.
Studio?
No,
Studio.
it's on our webpage.
JackieandLaurieShow.com.
Yeah. And
Yeah, all
Please
the
come.
things, you guys. Oh, I also posted on the Patreon my my Horcrux DVD.
Oh.
I put the whole special on it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, here, you guys are nice people. And, I mean, you can download it and own it from Comedy Film Nerds.
Yeah.
Or you can have the DVD from my website for $20. So you could own it if you wanted to. Or you could just watch it on Patreon.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We appreciate our Patreons.
Oh, don't we? there are Patronuses.
Very much, yes.
Anyway, so do you get that? Do you get that joke? Patronus?
I
Anything?
do. It's a Harry Potter.
Well played.
Yes.
Well played. There we go.
just started reading another one.
Did the young man have a good time in Japan?
Yes. I mean, yes.
He's 12.
We had a lot of, if you do this, I'll let you watch YouTube for 2 hours in the hotel. He was, for example, not excited to go to a tea ceremony.
Oh, Japanese tea?
yeah.
It's not his go-to?
No, and the whole, yeah. So, but he is one of those, he liked it better afterwards,
Right, because there was food and it was interesting.
It was tea.
There was no food. It was only
it was like
tea?
those little cakes that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
Japanese cakes that go with. It's not what a 12-year-old likes. They like Kit Kat bars. Okay, but we did go. I'm like, listen, thank you for doing all X, Y, and Z with me. I'm going to take you to Disneyland.
That's right. You went to Tokyo Disneyland.
Horrific.
What?
Okay, everyone in Japan apparently gets the same 2 weeks off, and it's the 2 weeks I was there.
Yeah.
And it was solid humanity. You could not buy a fast pass. They sold out at like 9 a.m. So
Just packed.
yeah. So we went on 2 rides.
Which
We-
two?
210 minutes to go on the first ride, and
That's
it was
a
like
long
about
time.
4 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then 110 minutes to go on the Tower of Terror, which was about a minute long.
Wow.
Yeah. I had bought
So you spent 4 hours there and you went on 2 rides?
yeah. I bought a
Have you ever thought about lighting $600 on fire?
here's the thing. It was in yen, so it didn't hurt that much. But I haven't looked at my credit card
yeah,
yet.
yeah, fair enough.
But I bought like a little battery pack for the phone,
Yeah.
so I had enough. And we watched the entire Avengers movie in line for one. I'm not kidding. The one with Thanos, Infinity War.
Infinity War, the one
whole
with
fucking
Thanos.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Did you, okay, so TJ Chambers, do you know him? Stand-up
Yes,
comic?
yes.
Super funny.
Yes.
Had my favorite tweet of the week, which was, you have to stay till after the credits of Mary Poppins to find out if she makes it through this Thanos snap. That's funny. You get that now.
I get it.
That's it. And I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp last night.
Yeah.
Things are good. Things are going real well in the Marvel Universe. I'm on board.
Oh,
turns
my
out.
son wants to write for Marvel.
He's not wrong.
We saw The Grinch in Japanese. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you see Mary Poppins or no?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
We did a lot of amusement parks.
Right.
Like
Spider-Verse?
no,
Spider-Man?
in Japan,
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Well, there's a new Spider-Man movie.
Oh no,
and it's
no.
animated. So you
no, we didn't
that
see it in
either?
Japan. No, it wasn't out yet.
Oh, okay.
But we did. We went to this place called Joypolis.
Yeah.
which was
Joypolis.
yeah, Joypolis,
Yeah,
Joy
yeah.
City, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Japan has these things where like they have there's this island called Odaiba or Odaiba or something, and then they have there's buildings all over it that have 15 stories of fun in them, but it's building like one of them was called Pallet City. And
Do they have pallets of full
no,
of stuff?
there's no connection to the word palette. I'm like, what the fuck? It was also an Aqua City, which has nothing to do with water, and it was all stuff. It was hard, and then I was like, I'm going to give up trying to assign meaning to these and just walk in.
Right.
One was called Decks, like pool decks.
Right.
Decks.
Right.
That's an
What was in there?
amusement park.
Oh, was it an amusement park?
Just lots of shops and things, and
Yeah. Like a mall.
a mall plus. It's
Okay.
not like American malls. There's always things going, but there's like roller
This is
coasters in the
second time
one
you've
mall.
been to Japan.
Yeah, well, because the key thing I wanted to do with my kid,
Yeah.
was go to this temple in Kyoto, and it's this. We went to Kyoto for a few days. What?
No, I don't know. It's like when you think about what a 12-year-old wants to do, temple falls underneath.
That's
tea.
why we had a lot of fights.
Yeah,
We were not on the same page of our day.
he had not wanted to see this temple.
Yeah. So we get to this temple, but they have this experience where you walk down these steps and you hold a handrail with your left hand as you walk down the steps, and within 3 steps you're in pitch black, and you keep walking and you can't let go of the handrail or you don't know where you're going. It's all of a sudden it's Bird Box, right? And then and you walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, and then when you get to a stone, you turn a corner, there's a stone and there's light coming from the sky.
Yeah.
And
There's
you
a hole
touch
in
the stone and do some sort of like whatever.
You're psyched. You're psyched that you got to touch the
Yeah.
stone. But is
the
it
first-
beautiful?
when I did it,
I think he's laughing at us. I don't know if he's. Are you laughing at me?
You're psyched.
You're psyched. I don't know.
Sweet stone.
It's a sweet
it's a
stone.
big disc.
Oh, it's a weird
giant.
round.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but you touch it and you think of your New Year's resolutions. Or whatever.
Okay.
So, but the first time I did it, I didn't know what was coming. I just I'm like, okay, monk. Here's your 100 yen.
Trappist monks. Boom.
So
Anyway,
so But this time my son's like, what is this? So I had to explain it to him. So it wasn't as profound. But for me, I felt like it was like the death experience. Like I was walking into darkness and then there was light.
Wow.
But he wanted to do it again. So we did it a couple times.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but he was trying to sprint through it, like see how quickly he could do. I'm like, that's not the point of it.
Nah, I like
God
that
dang.
kid. Anyway.
And then I'm enjoying my New Year's Eve in Tokyo, and then Louis C.K. set is leaked. Oh my God.
I did love
obsessed.
your last tweet of like, I can't believe how obsessed we are about this one male comic.
I know, because a psychotherapist wrote an op-ed for the New York Times. It's like, oh my God.
Jennifer, did you read Jenna Friedman's thing though?
No, what'd she say?
In the New Yorker.
No,
yeah, they interviewed her,
missed it.
and she was like, she was talking about how. Did you listen to the set? Because I
listened to parts of it.
Much like with presidents, I read some of the transcripts.
Yeah.
So I can't. I'm not listening. And so what she was talking about is how it was clearly a set. And Doug Stanhope had some. He was all up in arms about it too. How it was a bootleg and it was work in progress. Right.
Yes. Yeah, anything that gives the audience the idea they should be recording us is a bad idea, you know?
Right. And this is a perfect example
Yes.
of it because especially, the joke he did about the developmentally disabled.
Right.
It was almost a 4 or 5 minute bit about, and he said the word retarded a lot. And, you could tell that it was a work in progress because there was so much mugging. There was not mugging, but like sort of like hacky kind of.
You're trying to help yourself. You're trying to get a laugh. Yes,
you're trying to get a laugh to get to the point.
Yes.
And the point of the joke about the developmentally disabled is you shouldn't call them any of those names. You should date them and employ them. That was the point of the bit, and that was so hilarious to me because that's why he won't do the bit about masturbating, because he'll have to go through this journey where he's just doing hacky stuff about how he should get to masturbate and make people watch it because he's the boss. And because that's where the bit would go until he came to the conclusion of, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And so he can't do the bit. But did you hear he's also going up in Paris? You saw that, right?
Yeah. Well, he's a sociopath.
Yeah, he's out of his
He's going to get
mind.
on stage, and it's going to happen, and we can't stop him.
There's one club in New York.
He has an audience.
And there's one club in New York that isn't booking him.
Right? Yes, Stand Up New York, booked by Candy Clare.
That's it.
Yep.
The one book place.
It's on 79th and Broadway. In fact, I will be there this Saturday.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
I'm
so
going
come
to see
on
if
down.
I can get some sets there when I'm there in February.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm spending a week in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we're doing QED.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the show list on Jackie and Laurie Show and see if we're going to do a live one in your town, because we're doing Sketchfest.
Yes.
We're doing Boston. We're doing QED.
Yeah.
And
this
then,
is in Astoria, which is
is
where
it?
Amazon's going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Long Island City. It's right next to Astoria.
And then
But-
I'm doing the Hamptons.
But, you had to get that in.
I do. Well, I want people to come.
Oh, that's true. Forgot we're promoting shows.
It's I don't know if you missed that part where I was hoping that people would attend. Anyway, somebody asked me to describe what a callback was, and the other day, and it made me laugh so hard because I was like,
A comic?
a callback.
A comic wanted to know what a callback is, or
It was a regular. Everyone feels like a comic now. Isn't everyone doing stand up now? It's hard.
They're doing my act to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's call and repeat. It's call and respond. You're doing
But I mean, Louis, just to go back to this for a second.
Yeah, please.
Just, everyone, let's move on.
Yeah.
He's not going to stop doing comedy. He's not you're being appalled at him isn't going to change his mind.
Well, remember what's her face was telling us that she asked if they were still booking that other sexual predator, and the guy blocked her, and now she can't even submit.
Oh,
Remember that?
Yeah, on our chain, our text chain,
the text chain.
Yeah,
and they're gonna book dirtbags.
Yeah, they keep doing it.
Yeah, I was reminded in Ann Arbor, a friend of mine who used to manage the Comedy Gallery in Minneapolis in the early 90s, now lives in Pentwater, Michigan, because she inherited her parents' restaurant.
Wow.
And so she worked in the comedy industry for 15 years, and she was bored because it's a summer gig. And so she drove 4 hours and stayed at the Hampton Inn with me in Ann Arbor. Got her own room.
Okay.
I'm such a dick. Anyway, but because it had 2 beds, she could have.
No, for God's sake!
I know. I need
your
the solo
privacy.
time. Anyway, but she's great. It's Diana Russell is a delight.
Okay.
But she reminded me that Darlene Westgore, who I love,
She's very funny. She's
super
great.
funny.
Yeah.
She got off stage one time in like the early 90s, and Mordahl and Stanhope were in the green room naked. Just sitting on the green room couch, buck naked, with newspapers in front of their on their laps, and then they lifted the newspapers up and was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
My God.
And Darlene was like, "Hey, you assholes!" And then she kept walking and got a beer, I'm sure. But
we're just used to that level.
We're just used to that level.
We're so used to. Like I was thinking. All right, so Louis out there and the argument of the unsafe workplace. I'm like, yeah, I get that argument. If I were to actually walk into a club and see him, I would feel sick to my stomach. And I don't want to feel sick to my stomach when I walk into a club, okay?
Nope.
But that's going to happen to me.
Yep.
But do you know, we were on the road staying in condos when there was a almost verified rumor that John Fox would jerk off into the mayonnaise before he left the condo, and we would just be like, well, just don't eat the mayonnaise, we'll buy our own condiments.
Right.
Like, we're just used to working around psychopaths.
Yes.
And just, literally working around whatever jizz they're leaving all over our workplace.
Right.
Ugh.
I know. And so she tells the story, and we all laugh, and we laugh and laugh.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you're trained to laugh.
Yes.
Because it is funny, but it's a super male kind of funny.
It is.
And
it's like frat boys doing shit to you. It's like, no, I'm not trying to join.
And while it is dumb, it was neither one of those guys is hard, first of all, or ever. I don't think either of them.
Don't be naked if you don't want Jackie to make a joke about it, guys. Sorry.
You and your flaccid cock. Anyway, wow, out loud. So that got blue. So, but they were just sitting on the, and they were joking like 6-year-old boys,
totally. Yes.
It was more like a couple of 6-year-olds going, "I'm nude. Look at me. It bounces up and down when I jump," and so which is less intimidating, except for that I don't want it either. Right?
It's also that thing of especially back then, it's like, this is our place and we're letting girls in slowly, we're going to treat you, if you want in so badly, guess what? You get to be treated like a guy. Yeah. And this is what we do to guys.
And you're never going to, if you aren't, and if you don't adopt
cool with it,
right, and you have to adopt that masculine kind of energy.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you think about, it was my buddy Jim Wooster was talking about how some of these women who are in Congress are like, oh, they're going to get eaten alive. And I'm like, they're not going to get eaten alive because there's going to be another woman sitting next to them.
There's too many of them. For that to happen, it's such a cool feeling to watch all these women and they back each other up.
I can't keep them apart, you guys. There's enough women. I don't know all their names.
Rashida Tlaib. I don't know how to say her last name. Tlaib. Tlaib.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, if a couple of sessions ago she would have been like one of 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone would have been on her. But it's like, all these females are backing her and like, who fucking cares?
Just get off her tits.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And it feels different. They've only been there for like 3 days. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like,
Sandy. I want to call her Sandy. Is that all right?
Oh my God.
Right, somebody was all up in arms because she had a nickname in college.
Gateway pundit. She was called Sandy. They're trying to pretend like she's a fucking Hilton or something, you know?
Oh, it's so weird. It's there was a guy who went
But their obsession with her is bringing attention to her positions, her political positions, which are fucking perfect and on point if you're of our like-mindedness.
Right. Well, and she, she's norm. You know what she is? She's articulate. Now, what is the? It was somebody was saying that she's when you say that a woman is likable or unlikable.
Oh, I said
it's
that.
like when you,
it's the articulate of female candidates.
Yeah. And it's. Oh, did you say that?
Yeah, but someone else might have said it too.
Yeah, I think it was. And it was just, but it's just it's nice. They have each other, Yeah. I mean, I can't. And I tweeted this thing about how I would have seen a lot less lesbian porn if there would have been more than one woman in the in the green room, because they would put this crap on.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, huh? And you're like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
whatever.
because you just wanted to see more than one woman anywhere.
I would bring the lesbian porn. I'm like, look, I've got friends.
There's the only time
And they
there's
like each other.
two women on the bill is a lesbian porno in the 90s. It's different now a little bit, but not that much.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so then what happened? Oh, I have to tell you this because wait, are we at 30?
Oh, we are at 45.
Oh,
Holy shit! Comic of the week,
Ever Mainard.
Ever Mainard.
Yeah, I just worked with her at Gays R Us.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I've worked with her a couple of times. I think once in San Francisco is where I think I first met her. And smart, silly, funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep, very funny.
And grinding it out, doing the work.
Yep.
So I love that. Ever Mainard, and that's her Twitter handle too.
Ever Mainard.
At Ever Mainard, Mainard.
Yes.
Ever, Ever. And so, but back to, we're at 45.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is amazing. Okay. That's what we just need is to not hang out for 3 weeks.
I know.
But, okay, so I'm at the Ice House on Friday. I'm on both shows. And I think about trying to pick up a set in between, but then I don't. But
Okay.
that's a great story. So, but the first show, I'm first. It's Jimmy Burns and then me. And
Yeah.
they don't give him enough time to warm up the audience. They give him a bunch of announcements he's got to do.
Right.
He does a little bit of crowd work. He does he gets to do 2 or 3 jokes.
Right.
And so whoever goes first essentially has to warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking that that's what I was going to be doing.
Oh, right.
So I got up and I decided to work on the stuff I got to work on. And it was a bit of a slog.
Yeah.
And then second show, I'm not first, I'm second after Jimmy. And it's Amir K.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the exact same set. He didn't realize either. So
Yeah.
he gets off stage and he goes, well, you got to see me eat it. And I said, well, if that's you eating it, I take it that they're carrying you off stage. Because I had the same fucking set where
Yeah.
he didn't realize that they weren't,
Yeah.
It's just such a weird, like being aware of all the different things sometimes.
I know. The
I do
audience
like
will
the Ice
ruin
House,
your
though.
plans for your set.
The audience
So
will
quickly.
ruin your plans. Good for them. Well, I'm out. I'm done.
And then Tiffany Haddish, that happened.
Oh, God. New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
I know.
I know.
You know what though? Let me just say, and if this is advice to the 0.1% of comics that will actually be famous like that.
Yeah.
Is when you get that famous, you still have to figure out a way to get your stage time in.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if she's doing. I don't see her out doing a lot of spots. So, and she's in movie making mode, and
She was with 6 Hours the other night at the store with with Chappelle.
Oh, that's great. So what I mean, like Maria does shit, like
Those
she
1
will
PM
do those.
shows.
When she'll go to
She's doing 'em-
coffee with somebody and rehearse. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
a great way to go. If you're filming a lot of stuff and you can't get out and do a ton of spots, you got to figure out a way
Get creative.
to maintain. If you lose, it's like a stickiness. If you lose your ability to be on stage, if you like when I took 2 weeks off and it was hard and I was worried about it and stuff,
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think when in that very rare situation where it's here's a movie, and you're surrounded by people that aren't stand-up people, they're just like, this pays, and oh, this free spot at so-and-so doesn't really pay, so never mind. I think it's wise to figure out and demand for yourself, hey, I need X amount of spots a week if I'm going to keep doing live performing so that I'm ready for these potentially shitty shows like a New Year's Eve show.
Right. Well, and you get sucked into this thing where you are allowed, you're allowed to walk into situations, right? Because you're famous, and you haven't had that practice. You haven't had the straight up practice that you need to produce, right? Yeah. And what it just, there's, from what I've heard, that there's just trouble there. I don't know. She's doing the best she can, but they're also throwing a lot of perks at her that she doesn't know how to turn down yet.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, if you think about Hedberg,
Right.
And he got out of rehab and he went on a tour. I was reminded of this when I was talking to club owners on the last month, is because his manager was the same manager as Louis before he dropped him. But he sent him on the road, he went on the road. And it was his decision. Mitch Hedberg was a grown-up man. But he went on the road right out of rehab with Dave Attell and Louis Black, who were both drinking heavily at the time. And he lasted the tour, but 2 or 3 weeks after the tour, or not long, I can't remember exactly how, he was dead. Because he was using again and he was drinking. And so, sometimes you have to take care of yourself when the fame comes too fast. And you're like, well, there's not going to be enough money. I'm going to run out of money. I'm not getting, I have a hard time turning down any work.
Same here.
Right. Because you're like, well, it's going to stop.
Right.
Any minute.
Imagine if you had a team of people around you also going, yeah, do it. Do it. Fly the next day to Rosemont. That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because the team is like, well, we need our 10% as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 10 of them. There's 6 of them wanting a different 10%. So that leaves you with 40.
It leaves you with 40.
And then you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so this isn't as much as I think it is. I got to keep going.
Right.
But stand-up comedy is a very unforgiving mistress.
Yes.
And if you aren't on stage a lot hammering it out, it fucking, you...
Right. Concentrate on the work. Don't concentrate on the magic. On the toys and stuff. If you can. I know it's hard not to, go, oh my God, I got to sit in first class and somebody gave a shit and thinks that I'm a genius and whatever,
You know what it was like? I think Birbiglia went to the Comedy Attic and he kind of announced, I'm just doing new shit.
Yeah.
Like lower your expectations. And it was $5.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really smart way to.
I went with Maria last year.
She
did it. She got to do 5 shows in a weekend.
She just kind of, yeah.
And she's like, it's all, I'm just working on this next hour. That's all I'm working on.
Was it sold out?
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Totally sold out. And she made okay money. But it wasn't, and she's doing it again in Toronto.
So it's like a lower ticket charge?
I don't know. I think it was, it was less than a theater.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's no Ticketmaster bullshit.
Right.
So, but I think it was still $18-20.
Like Marin is shooting a lot of stuff. He's on TV shows a lot. He's on, what's the Showtime show he's on?
I don't know.
Glow. He's on Glow.
Oh, right.
He's he's starring role in Glow.
Yeah.
So he's figuring out how to still keep, the comedy chops.
Well, I mean, everybody talks about how you do stand up while still doing a full-time writing gig. And
I think only you and Brandy talk about it.
Just me and Brandy. No. You're getting It comes up. The thing is, when we first met, I was like, you were the only one I ever heard doing it. And you're like, Kylie does it. And you're like, yes, Brian Kylie also does it. So, but it's hard because you're tired.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you said, this is 3 years ago now. You said one of the reasons you did it was because it was the only time you really had for yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're writing for someone else or you're being someone else,
or
right?
caring for somebody
yeah,
else.
you're
right.
caring
or
for
yelling
your family.
At somebody else.
Sure.
When I really just want to yell at my audience.
Exactly. The audience needs to be yellered at.
Kyle, where are we?
Oh my 53. God. We're doing good. It's so...
I'm starting to crash. I was so energetic just minutes ago. Now I'm like...
I know.
Fading.
I know. We the first 45 were pretty exciting, weren't they? Let's reminisce about them. Reminisce about how well we did. So, yeah, there was... I'm going to Seattle and it's going to be with Andy Erickson. That's
Yeah.
this week. Everyone should come to Laughs in Seattle. I'd love to sell it out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yes.
That'd be awesome. Laughs in Seattle. Come for the comedy. Stay for the razor wire.
That's great that you're working with Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got to work because she's doing Dry Bar, she said.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool.
Which is that clean
Yeah.
comedy thing that...
Has that resulted in money for people? Do
I
we
know that
yet?
it's resulted in a lot of clicks and corporates for Tommy Ryman so far.
Okay. And what about Brad Upton?
And Rontowski's doing well with it, but
Really?
I think there's back end money.
Okay.
So...
And we get to find out this month if Sound Exchange, if that was just a blip. I think it was a blip, man.
It was a blip for me anyway. I mean, we're 20 days away from. I'm like, when's that next check?
I know. I've
When's that
never
next check
cared
coming?
before.
Oh, I've cared every month.
I never got care money.
It was, and then but I'm doing so many weird gigs. I'm hoping to take some time off, and but I don't know. I want to do all these clubs that I don't get to do so far again, but I'm also fully booked. So I'm almost full. I'm booked through March.
That's great.
That's should be. We should probably figure out when we should meet again. That's what this has turned into. Now it's just a meeting.
Well, I'm like, I gotta put another CD together or a special. I don't know.
Yeah.
With the whatever material I have before everyone singing every fucking joke to me. You know?
Right.
Because I have that's what I got to do this year. I gotta find, there's some jokes that before I got pregnant, you know, when getting pregnant changed my entire act. And I was like, what? And
Right.
the same thing with
you
my
should
dad.
cut your hair. What?
Same thing with my dad dying. It was like, clear the decks. I'm tackling this problem.
Right.
So I have like leftover material from before that era that
You should
I
go
don't
to
know.
Afghanistan or something. You need
you
life-changing...
keep giving me terrible suggestions.
Well, that's because your dad dying and having a child, those sound like nightmares to me. So,
yeah, but right now I'm like, I don't know what to do besides what I'm currently doing.
Right. Oh,
but I don't know what what's
material.
my big goal. I don't know what my big goal is.
well,
for me personally.
Yeah, right. There's through line, there's thread, there's arc, there's all these things that you're like, because everything you're writing stands on its own so far. Is that what you're saying? Like there's no overall, there's no umbrella. Is there a through line?
No. I mean, like, so what do I want to do next? Do I want to
direct? Is that what you mean? Like
no,
the big
can I
picture?
finish a fucking sentence? That's what I want to do next.
Go.
No, like, so do I want to do a special? And then is that me paying it for myself and trying to sell it, like some of our friends have tried to do and have not been able to do in this era of everyone getting a special? Like, I don't know what's happening in the business, and I don't know or should I just put out a CD so I can just have the material that I've got locked down now out on radio, so that at least I can be making passive income from it, right?
I vote for number 2.
But then if you put out a CD and then it's like, oh, we want to do a special with you. What if that happens? We can't use any material that you've put out on any CDs.
But I don't know anyone who said that.
Don't they say that?
I don't think they say that, but they might say that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, turns out Netflix isn't talking to me at this point,
right?
But I do give them $20 a month. But that's just for the one DVD that I never watch, and streaming. Kyle's like,
they don't have that option anymore.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah, they do. Because a lot of stuff is not available streaming. I don't watch any of it. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I spend a lot of time reading science fiction. So,
yes.
Anyway, but yeah, the
Kyle, we're done, right?
We got a minute and 30 seconds.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you my act. I have to figure out my closer. There's trouble,
right?
But all of these long sets have done more good than not. Obviously, right?
I know. Me too. I mean, just a little. Like I didn't have a thing I was working on. I have a couple, at Zany's. I had like little things I was tweaking and stuff like that. But I was like, all right, I'm just going to talk slow, see what comes up, and a couple bits that weren't finished, things started bubbling up in the pauses,
Yeah, I've got like 4 or 5 lines that I noticed tonight and angles and stuff like that. It just like this week I'm doing Public House tomorrow. I'm opening for Maria at Flappers on Thursday. Friday and Saturday I'm going to Seattle, and then I'm back. And then I think the following week is New Jersey and Boston, isn't it?
Yeah, New York this weekend and Boston next weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
For me.
So, yeah, I'm doing New Jersey with Maria and Huntington, New York, which is in Long Island.
That's
and then
a ton of travel.
And then I'm going to Boston. But and then from Boston, I think I'm home for a second, which would be great.
Yeah.
But because I love Boston, and there's not enough. I was psyched that this guy was willing to let us do it.
I can't believe it, and I'm getting in at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's nuts. We
We
have to talk about
two
hotels.
Yeah, I'll pay for it. That's fine.
Well, but you should get the hotel that. What? It's great.
Well, yeah,
I think we're done.
We'll do it. Bye.